Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs Film. This is a top 10 of movies that you can watch on Netflix UK for the month of February 2019, and there is a slight paranormal tint to some of the movies on this list. Let's get started. Number 10, Lion. A 5-year-old Indian boy gets lost in the streets of Calcutta. Thousands of kilometres from home, he survives many challenges before being adopted by a couple in Australia. 25 years later, he sets out to find his lost family. Lion is one of those movies where I saw the trailer and I assumed most of what was going to happen. It's a true tale, and that just adds more power and gusto to the movie. There is some fantastic performances on hand here, with Dev Patel doing a great role, Runa Mara doing a great support role as well, and this story that is really unbelievable, and it will absolutely 100% affect you. In the last few moments, if it doesn't affect you, you have a heart of stone. I felt that Lion was a wonderful tale, supremely told. It doesn't drag out, it doesn't languish on too over dramatic moments, just it gives you the facts, the pivotal moments in this guy's life, and just lets it play out, and it's wonderful. Number 9, The Conjuring 2. In 1977, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren travel to London, England, where a single mother, Peggy Hodgins, believes that something evil is in her home. When Peggy's youngest daughter starts showing signs of demonic possession, Ed and Lorraine attempt to help the besieged girl, only to find themselves targeted by a malicious spirit. I'm a big fan of James Wan. I love his first Conjuring movie, which I do think is the better movie, slightly, but this one has lots of terrific direction in it. Unusual kind of things. The way that he constructs a haunted house horror movie is a master at work. He knows exactly what to deliver in these kind of movies, and he does do that in delivering some fantastic characters. In fact, again, we got another spin-off, The Nun, from this, because of the character in this movie is such a visceral, atmospheric, terrifying entity that it got its own movie as well. The Conjuring 2, where not as good as the first one, has some outstanding direction. There's a moment where characters are going around the house and it pans above and around, and it's just interesting and adds a fresh take and some fresh ideas into these overly familiar haunted house kind of movies. Number 8, X-Men Days of Future Past. In 2023, the entire mutant race is on the brink of extinction by a new and powerful army of robots known as Sentinels. It is now up to the remaining X-Men to stop the Sentinels. They must send Wolverine back to 1973, where Mystique killed the Sentinels' creator, Trask. It's now up to Wolverine to gather the younger X-Men to save the entire mutant race. For my money, this is the best X-Men movie. Somehow taking the old guard and the new guard, mixing them together in a fantastic storyline, and it really relies on its strengths. It has a great cast, which the X-Men movies always do, doing great performances, but it ties it down with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine character. He is the main play in this movie, and he's one that really galvanises everything together. It's got some fantastic action set pieces, and it is one of, no, it is the best X-Men movie out there. Number 7, ParaNorman. In the town of Blythe Hollow, Norman Babcock is a boy who can speak to the dead. But no one, besides his eccentric new friend Neil, believes his ability is real. One day, Norman's estranged, eccentric uncle tells him of an important annual ritual he must take up to protect the town from a curse cast by a witch condemned centuries ago. Eventually, Norman decides to cooperate, but things don't go according to plan. ParaNorman from Laika is one of those movies that creeps up on you. You know, it starts off quirky and fun, and before you realise it, you're engaged by the characters, you are engaged by the storyline, and you are genuinely wondering how this is going to play out. It's full of fantastic production design, from the characters to the sets. But the best thing about this is the story. The story is layered, it's nuanced, and it is terrific, and something that you can go back to again and again. Number 6, Close. Hired to protect a pampered mining heiress, Zoe, bodyguard Sam finds herself tangled in a deadly conspiracy. When attackers target the heiress she is protecting, battle-hardened bodyguard Sam scrambled to save her client and teach her how to fight back. The first of a few Netflix originals on here stars Noomi Rapace, and this is a movie that you've seen plenty of times before. This version of this tale is really well done. It's not outstanding. It's not a movie that you're going to rave about or go on about, but it is one that you will genuinely enjoy as it is happening. You get Noomi Rapace as the bodyguard, who has some fantastic action set pieces, some moments where she has to do hand-to-hand combat, and she sells it. She looks tough, hard as nails, and able to overcome obstacles with fighting people who are much bigger, much stronger than her. There is a terrific fight scene when she has her hands tied behind her back and fighting somebody that is so much bigger and stronger than her that is just breathtaking. There is also a terrific underwater fight scene as well, and this movie is just entertainment. Like I said, after you've seen it, you're not going to rave about it, but it'll leave a kind of positive memory. Number 5, Polar. The world's top assassin Duncan Visla is settling into retirement when his former employer marks him as a liability to the firm. Against his will, he finds himself back in the game, going head to head with an army of younger killers. It's based on a graphic novel. Knowing that going into it is probably going to do you the world of good. There's lots of comic sensibilities, from the transitions to the over-the-top caricatured bad guys that are there. But we do have one saving grace here, and that's Mads Mikkelsen as Duncan, and this tired, worn out, fed up killer who just has the instinct to survive and the ability to back it up. It's terrific to watch. There is plenty of ludicrous action set pieces. If you're looking for something serious, this is definitely not it. If you're looking for over the top, bloody, just ridiculous action set pieces, this is the kind of thing that you're going to get a lot of fun out. I know I did. I thought it was pretty fun, and I seem to be one of the few people that did. Number 4, Shirkers. In 1992, teenager Sandy Tan and her friends Sophie and Jasmine shot Singapore's first indie road movie called Shirkers. With their enigmatic American mentor, George Cardona, Sandy wrote the script and played the lead, a killer named S. After shooting Wrapped, George vanished with all the footage. 20 years later, the 16mm cans are recovered in New Orleans. This is a fascinating tale of what could have been. You know, these people were jazzed up, they were enthused, they were energetic, and they wanted to make a movie, and with sheer will and gusto, they did that. They made this movie against all odds. And this was a dream. This was something that could have kick-started the film making in that country, and could have really kick-started this career, and it was kind of robbed from them by this mysterious character who seems to have done this before. It's a really interesting tale that's sort of covering past transgressions and how to get over things that could have had a big impact in your life, coming to terms with what happened, and when somebody does something so erroneous as what this guy did. Number 3, Split. Kevin Wendell Crumb, a man with 23 different personalities, abducts and keeps 3 teenage girls in his basement for unknown reasons. As Kevin's therapist delves deeper into his mysterious disorder, the girls must find a way to escape before a new and sinister 24th personality reveals itself. Split was a terrific movie, and it relies on the performance of James McAvoy, who plays multiple characters in this movie and does it fantastically well. You really believe that these are all individual characters with their own characteristics. This was, unbeknownst to most viewers, the second part of the Unbreakable trilogy, with Glass recently coming into the cinemas and being, for me, rather underwhelming. I thought it was time to go back and revisit the second one, which was a little bit more energetic, more thoughtful, more interesting. Number 2, Ghost Stories. Skeptical Professor Philip Goodman embarks on a trip of the terrifying after finding a file with details of 3 unexplained cases of apparitions. I love ghost stories because, well, I love anthology movies, and this is kind of one of those. That is 3 stories wrapped around a main story with connective tissue that ties all the stories together. So you get a best of both worlds. You get a cohesive whole, and you get 3 nice sort of short ghost stories as well, which all work terrifically well. The larger story, the finale of that, may not work entirely for me, but I really did enjoy certain aspects of the movie. The creativity, the practicality of it, the performances were great, and the icky feeling of the hairs in the back of your neck standing to attention as the people go through these terrifying ordeals. I think it is a fantastic movie that seems to be easing by with very few people talking about it. So on Netflix, it's a great movie. I think you should check it out. Number 1, A Ghost Story. In this singular exploration of legacy, love, loss, and the enormity of existence, a recently deceased, white-sheeted ghost returns to his suburban home to try and reconnect with his bereft wife. That synopsis kind of tells you everything you need to know in this really wacky and weird movie that works strangely well. This was a movie that I avoided for a while because I heard polarising opinions of the movie. People tend to love it, some people tend to hate it. I, for one, thought it was really interesting and very different. Having this character with a sheet over their head being a ghost really takes away all the emotion and characteristics of that person, yet somehow you still get an idea of what they're feeling. As you see this idea of love and grief kind of play through in a lovely fashion. It really does get under your skin and affect you. It's a really short movie, it's a really effective movie. It has some long drawn out scenes that are there for reasons, the reasons that really do punch home if you buy into the movie. And I think it's one of these ones that you would read the synopsis, you would look at the poster and you think that's not going to work, that's not for me, and that would be a real shame because you are missing out on a fantastic movie that you ought to check out. So there we have it, 10 movies for you to check out on Netflix. I hope you find something there that you really enjoy, or at least something that sparks your curiosity and you're willing to give it a shot. I would love to get a recommendation from yourself if there's something that I've missed off my list. So let me know in the comment box your thoughts on this list, your thoughts on any of the movies, or something that I should be checking out. And I'll see you next month for another Top 10. Thanks for watching.